Here we go. Cicero. Non ita multus ante annis aliunt. So, not many years before, it's a common thing to put the multus in front of the preposition. They do it all the time. So, aliunt, they say, they are just people unnamed. Not many years before, many people said ita, thus or so, that quendam T. Calium, a certain T. Calius, and he lived in a place called Terentinum, which is about 60 miles from Rome, a hominem non obscurum, so he's well known, when he had past participled, when he had dined, canatus, cubitum, it's in the accusative, so he's probably going there, in idem conclave. A conclave is a room that takes a clavis, which is a key. So in a lockable room, cum two adolescents with his two adolescent filii, two adolescent sons, and as his verb, he went into this cubitum. So after he died, he went into the same bedroom, which was lockable, with his two adolescent sons. Cum takes the ablative. Inventum esse, he was found, mane, adverb, early in the morning, jugulatum. So he'd had his throat cut or some other type of way he was murdered. Cum nequis servus quisquam, when neither was anyone, quisquam, a service is a slave, reperenter means found, nequi liber, so we have service nequi liber. So when neither anyone was found, slave nor free, to whom ad quam ea suspicio pertinerent, to which the suspicion pertained or was pertinent to the investigation, the suspicious, id this, we'll say, aetus autem duo filii. Autem's just however, or moreover, these two sons, aetus probably means of their age, because they're adolescents. Propter usually means on account of. Cubantes looks present participle. Propter and ob can also mean up against. You see that in Plautus. So these two adolescent sons were found sleeping up against, I'm guessing the dead guy, their father. Ne quidam means not even. And so, dicerent, they were saying, concerning say themselves, that they had not even sensisse, they had not even sensed or detected anyone. As we see, there was no slave or free man there, and they hadn't detected anyone. So the nomina, which is plural of a neuter, the names of the filiorum, the names of these sons, were delated. They were brought down for indictment or something concerning the parricide, the murder of their father. Quid poterat, what is able to be tam so suspiciosum? Could be so suspicious. You'd probably find that to be an adjective. Neutrum ne, this ne enclitic means there's a question. It's added to the first word. Neither of them had sensed anything. That's the perfect infinitive. So, what was able to be suspicious of this? Neither of them had detected anything. Awesome. Someone in the accusative dared. Autem, moreover. Quem, also in the accusative. So, quem, awesome. Someone had dared, moreover, that to committere in id conclave. Id used for neuter. You've seen when people commit to battle, they go into it. So the same thing's going here. Who would have dared to have gone into this conclave, which usually means a locked room, but sometimes it's of a dining room or of a bedroom, so it's a bedroom. Eo tempore, in that time when ibidem, at the same time, when there were the two adolescent sons were there, participants probably the adverb for above all, when there were two adult sons there, qui who, et, two correlative, so both, they were easily possent, they were easily able to sense this person was it, and to defendere the father. So, we've got the whole thing just links together. Who would there have been who were dared, moreover, to have gone into this room, and above all, when there were two adult sons there who would have detected it and defended it. So three of them basically would have hopefully sent someone. So it's a strange murder. Okay, we'll make a daily dictionary out of potissimum. There's a adjective version, and there's the adverb. Not comparable, chiefly, above all. So he's like really emphasizing with potissimum. Erat, poro usually means furthermore, absolutely, or something like that, or to sum it up. And there was furthermore nemo, which means no one, in quem. This nemo is a not an accusative, but it becomes accusative here in quem, so the nominative becomes accusative. There was no one in whom, because prepositions only take accusatives and adverb. So besides, there was no one in whom the suspicion, same as in English, could come upon, convenierant. 65. Tamen, nevertheless, or yet, when planum judicibus esset factum, so a planum fact, it was a plain fact to these judges, it might even be the jurors because it's plural, ablative absolute, when the aperto ostio, when the door was opened, repertos esse dormientos eos. So these young men were found to be asleep. So the judicio absoluti adolescents, in the outcome of the law case, the adolescents were absolved, and in the suspicions, liberatis sunt omne. We see the I there, meaning plural. You usually see that followed by a ti, which you get in the supine form. Sometimes they use s in supines. But so the adolescents were absolved and they were free, omni suspicion, of all the suspicion. Nemo enim putabat. For no one thought that quemquem there would be anyone, esse qui who, cum omnia divina and humana jure, when all divine and human rights, or with polluisse, they would pollute or infect all human and divine rights with a scellere nefario, with a nefarious crime, and start him immediately, potuisset, they would have been able, taking the infinitive, to capere somnium, to take sleep. Propter quod, besides, because who would commiserant tantum facinus, who would commit such a facinus, a deed or a crime, non modo, not only quaescre, be able to rest or sleep sine cura, without any anxieties or care, sed ne spirare quidem, but not even ne quidem possunt, able to spire would be breathing, sine metu, without fear. 66. We have the Neonclitic asking a question. Viditus. In Latin, all these V's are W's, your worst sounds. I sometimes use the V sound of English. But vides, do you see, quas those people who, plural accusatives, the poetas, nominatives, the poets, tradiderant, taking the dative to us. Do you see those who the poets have handed to us? Patris ulciscendi, which is a gerund. Causa is the post-positive of that, or the post-position, if you want to call it. So, de matre, concerning their mother, they sumpsicid a supplicum. They took up this vengeance, basically, for the sake of revenging their father. So, I'd say the mother killed the father. So, they took up the cause of their father, of avenging him. When praesertum, adverb, when especially, diorum immortalis, by the order, plural, iusis, by the instructions, orders of the immortal gods, genitive, double genitive, and oraculis, and by the oracles, decantor, passive, they are said to have fecissate id, to have done this. Tamen, nevertheless, ut eos agitent furia is proper noun, the Furies, they agitated eos, those people, or they stirred them up or did some action against them, that neque consistere umquam patia, so that they would be suffered, that comes from the deponent, that they would suffer, that they could neque umquam, that's a negative with ever, so they would not ever be able to consistere, which means to halt or to stop, quod, which or because, ne quidam, pie sine scelerum esse potron, okay, so of which they could not even be able to be pious, P-I-I, plural, without doing a crime. So they're pious because they're avenging their father, but they're also scelerai because they're killing their mother. 6a res habet. Thus, the matter has for itself, or this is what's contained in the matter. Eudices, that's the vocative for the jury, literally plural judges. So this is the matter in itself, judges. Vim magnum, again the V is a W when you pronounce it in classical Latin. So there's great force, great necessitatem. This necessitatem can also mean binding of families. Magnum possidet religionem, paternus qui maternus sanguis. So if you want to go from here backwards, paternal and maternal blood possesseth, it has a great possession of great force and great necessity and magam religion and a great religious implications. Ex quo si qua, from which, if there is something, qua macula, the qua would be female for macula. So from this, if concepta, something is conceived from which there is a macula, which is a stain, non modo, not only is it non potest, not able, potest takes the infinitive, to be eluide, to be washed away, virum, but usque eo permana, as much as it permeates ad animum to the heart or the soul, so that summus furor and amentia, so the greatest furies and madness consequatur, follow. 67. Nolite animputare. Noli, that's plural form, takes the infinitive. For don't think, putare, don't think that whom ad modum in fabulous saepe numero viditus, in the way that are in stories, which viditus you see, saepo numero, very often. But I don't think that in the way that you often see in stories, that eos qui, those who, something impious and scelerata commiserate, so the eos are those who commit, again, something aliquid, impious and criminal action, agitara and pateritae, furiam tatus ardiment, that they are agitated, and perterrified means very terrified or thoroughly terrified. By the tatus ardentibus. These are the burning torches, basically, of the furies. That's genitive. So don't think just because you've often seen in the ways of stories that these people who do these crimes and impious deeds are terrified by the burning torches of the furies. So don't think that. That's what it's saying. Suba quem fraus. This is fraud or deception. It's female, so his own sua fraus, each one, quem que, and with his own deceptions, and terror suas. Now it's reflexive on the male. Here's how he vexes with his own fraud vexes him, and his own terror. Maxime means greatly or especially. Suum quem scelus, of which his own scelus, his own crime, agitates again, stirs against him, and adficio creates this, and his amentio, which is madness. Sua male, here we go. We have his own evil cogitations, and his consciousness, conscienta, terens his enemy. The consciousness of his mind, terens. These things terrify him. So it's just a list, basically. His own deceptions, his own terrors especially, his own crimes stir him, and his madness, and his evil cogitations, and the consciousness of his mind's terrifying him. Heisun. These are impious, probably ablative or dative plural, assidua domestica fury. So these are the furies. Assiduous means constantly, and of the household, I would say from the impious, which, quae, dies and noctes, days and nights, the poenas parentium, this punishment of the parents. So these are the things which are the Furies repentant, which are seeking from consceleratus philis, from con just means together. So these are from sons who have done a crime together, the punishment of the parents, which is acidully domestic, as usually something at home or natural or native or something. These are repentant, sought from the impious, from the unpious. So 68. These things, magnitudo malefici facet. So these things, the magnitude is the great size, and malefici is bad deeds, basically. So these things make the enormous size of this evil doing makes this thing, so that, nisi, unless peni manifestum, it's almost manifest, this parricidium, the murdering of the father, proferiterator, this is related or produced. So with this great size of these evil deeds, unless it is almost manifest that this uncredible non-sit, it's not credible, nisi, unless it is a turpus adolescent. This is some sort of foul type of a young man or of a bad nature. And nisi again, unless his vita, which is his life, is iniquita, is stained, that comes from the supine, I think, with all types of disgraces, omnibus flagitus, and nisi again, unless his sumptus, it's usually expenses or something, effusi, so he's loose with his spending, with probo and dedecor. This is dishonors and disgraces or something, and unless his audacia, his boldness is unrestrained, prorupta, that's a participle from a verb, and unless tanta temeritas, with such temerity or rashness, that ut non procul, is not far abhorrent ab insanity, is not far abhorrent from insania, which is pretty much the same thing in English. So unless he has such temerity and rashness, and that he's basically not far away from being an insane person, this adolescence. Akidat hak. And so to add to this, oportet, there ought to be odium parentis, a hatred of the parents, animadversion paternum metis, metis is the word there, fear of paternal animadversion. A lot of times animadversion means noticing it, but it's also a punishment, so you see it here. Fear of paternal punishment, we might want to say. Imici improbi, these are like untrustworthy friends or friends who do shady sort of dealings. Servi conscious, so he's got some co-conspirators who are servants or slaves, are conscious of his deeds. And an idonium tempus, tempus is a neuter, suitable time, a locus opportune, captus, so taking of the opportune time and place, literally, to eam rem for this matter. Paini dicam. Almost, I should say, that the manus, is a hand, respersus, been sprinkled with, basically, sanguine paterno, with paternal blood, judges, vidant, autu, vidiant. So he almost should say that the judges ought to see, or the judges see, they ought to see, the hand sprinkled or stained with the blood of the father, if tantum facinus, if such a crime, or so imane, so monstrous, so acabum, I don't know, bitter or something, is creditori sunt, should be believed. And that's it for the day.